guys, and welcome back to King's Quest II, Romancing the Stones. Last time we got the first gem, the birth slash water gem, and now we are working on getting the growth slash air gem. And the first thing we're going to go do is take care of this enchanter. So basically, we just kind of have to hang out in here until he shows up. Might as well
A
amuse
collection of
ourselves.
books are stacked side by side on a nearby shelf. Most of the titles are written in a mysterious language that you don't understand, so you suspect that they are about magic. This long staff looks magical in nature.
Can I have it?
Enchanter staffs are very powerful objects. You dare not touch this one, for fear of the consequences you may bring upon yourself.
Oh, fine. So we basically just have to wait until he decides to grace us with his presence.
You hear footsteps approaching. Uh-oh, the enchanter has caught you in his lair. He twirls his hands, aims them at you, and then utters some words under his breath.
I'm not scared. I have the emerald.
You feel a tingling sensation all over your body as the enchantment attempts to transform you into whatever the enchanter has fancied. At the same time, you also feel the comforting energy of the emerald shielding you. The enchanter's twisted smile turns downwards. He scowls at you. There is a look of panic on the man's face. He does not dare breathe.
I hereby order you to depart from Kalima forever, never to trouble its citizens again, lest you earn the fullness of my wrath.
Yeah.
The enchanter looks baffled. You sigh inwardly and try again.
Leave. If you come back, then you will get it.
The enchanter
Yeah.
nods frantically, as much as he can without cutting his own neck on your sword edge. He gestures quickly with his hands.
So now we're going to read this writing here. It'll give us a clue about the bridal.
You notice that some writing has been engraved into the wall. You read the inscription.
Row of stones that number 6, half and a pair from left do pick. Quell then my spell, avoid the tricks. So half of 6 would be 3, and a pair would be 2, so it's fifth from the
The
left.
engraving on the wall reads, "In row of stones that number 6, half and a pair from left do pick. Quell then my spell, avoid the tricks."
Okay, so now we're going to go down and get Pegasus's bridle so he can take us to the cloud spirit. Back soon, horsey. Now we don't have to worry about the enchanter trying to
You
catch
unroll
us
the
in the woods
magic
anymore.
carpet, lay it on the ground, and sit on it. The carpet rises into the air again. The carpet begins to descend.
Okay. What's this rock formation? We've passed it quite a few times at this point. So it's right here. So, get our emerald out. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's this one right here.
Despite what some
This one right here, number 5.
You bend over and hold the emerald above the stone so that the sun's light channels through it. Incredible! The rock has transformed into a silver-studded bridle. You take the bridle.
All right, now we'll go back up to where the Pegasus is. So last time we'll be able to use our carpet.
You can't use. You unroll the magic carpet, lay it on the ground, and sit on it. The carpet begins to rise skyward. As you reach down to get the carpet, it vanishes into thin air without even so much as a puff of smoke.
Guess it was tired of me. Okay, so got ready and go talk to the horse. Hello, horsey. There you go.
You slip the bridle over the horse's head. It whinnies its approval.
Come, climb upon my back.
1 second.
Hold on. This will be a little exhilarating.
The disciple of the cloud gracefully soars high into the sky. You grip the reins tightly and hold on for dear life as he swoops and dips between the clouds. After a time, he draws near to a thick patch of luminous mist. As you pass through it, the horse sets itself down, seemingly on top of a cloud.
It is all right. You can dismount now.
Believing that you have finally lost all sense of reason, you dismount and prepare for a very long drop. And find yourself standing on a cloud.
How is it possible that I can stand upon thin air?
Such are not the questions you should be asking. You have come for the Air Gem, or the Growth Gem as it was once named by the ancients. It has not been termed thus without reason, for one who would have the gem as his own must prove himself grown and thus worthy of it.
Meaning, no disrespect.
Cloud Spirit.
Thank you. You must agree, Cloud Spirit, that I am a man fully grown, thus fulfilling your prerequisite.
A howling wind deafens you momentarily, though you feel nothing on your skin. The cloud spirit speaks again, a little more forcefully.
It is not enough that you have grown in body. That much is evident. It must be proven that you have also grown in both mind and soul. So on these shall you be tested.
Tested?
Those who bear the burden of king are expected to possess certain qualities. Your actions will be judged against the weight of these. It shall be seen whether you are deserving of your title. It shall be seen whether you are worthy of the Growth Gem.
After a moment of silence, the cloud spirit intones,
Behold your first test.
These are pretty interesting. Different things happen depending what you pick, but if you pick the wrong answers, you will die after all of this.
The mist around you clears, and you find yourself in a familiar place. This is Daventry, and furthermore, you are a child again. A slight dizziness overwhelms you for an instant. How strange, you no longer recall anything past this moment in time. It is as if this is happening again for the first time. Even stranger, you are still vaguely aware that you are undergoing a test of some kind, though for what purpose you cannot fathom. But look, it is Malvolio, your best friend. The two of you are deeply engrossed in a game of bat and ball.
Ouch!
Uh-oh! That sounds like the king now! What do we do?
You there.
Yes?
Yes? Is that how you address your liege?
No, Your Majesty, King Edward, sir. I mean, sire.
Which of you two boys threw that ball? The one that just happened to land on my head?
So we don't have to talk
With
to
King
him.
Edward waiting for a response, and
Okay, so you basically want to take all the heat yourself so that your friend doesn't get in trouble. So the sacrificial lamb.
you summon all your courage and speak up.
Your Majesty, if you please. It was I who hit the ball over the castle wall. It was my fault completely. Please do not punish my friend.
The king eyes you carefully. You wonder if you are now in serious trouble.
I would not punish one for something so trivial. However, I will see you play your game elsewhere, away from here.
Yes, sire.
One more thing, my young fellow. You have demonstrated good character today by taking the blame for your friend. The finest knights in this realm demonstrate their compassion by protecting others, even if that should mean putting themselves at risk. I find that to be a rare quality in the many I meet. When you have grown up, I hope to see you again, perhaps in my service.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Behold your second test.
You feel yourself growing older, more so than before the tests began. Again, dizziness overcomes you, your memory of the previous test fades, and in its place, your mind is filled with the knowledge of everything that has since come to pass. This includes, unfortunately, the dreadful misfortunes which have plagued Daventry since the coming of the terrible three-headed dragon. To make things worse, your 17-year-old daughter has been demanded as its latest sacrifice. In return, it will not harm the rest of the population until the next demand. You would go forth to destroy the dragon yourself, but you no longer have the heart for such quests. Never have you felt so forlorn, so frail. You fear that given the choice, you would do anything to rectify the situation.
This is the father.
A charming view. No wonder you come here so often.
You. I will see you hanged for this intrusion. Guards! Guards!
Calling them will do
Something
you
a
no
bit
good.
familiar about
For even
him.
if they come, they will find their king speaking to only the air he breathes.
A pox on thee! Who are you?
My name, my true name, has been heard by none for an eye on a millennium. It is enough that you know me as the Father.
Then say what you have come to say and be gone.
You never were one for small talk.
You cursed my family. As a result, that dragon is now loose upon the land, and one of my children was kidnapped.
Now that is not quite the truth.
Do you deny your involvement?
Not at all. It is just that you have omitted so much.
Speak, and be gone.
Very well. I want your crown.
You cannot believe what you have just heard. This vile creature has caused untold misery throughout your land for nearly 18 years and has now infiltrated your castle just to ask that you hand over your authority to him? Of all the outrageous...
Is that what this is all about? You want to rule Daventry?
What would I want with a puny little kingdom when in a few short years I will have more power than Legitimor himself? No. I want only the thing you wear atop your head. Your crown. It is an essential part of my plan. Without it, my efforts to prepare for the ascension will have been in vain. I have waited far too long to be deterred from it now.
If you need it that badly, you could have just taken it. You had plenty of opportunities.
Are you completely ignorant of the legends of your predecessors?
Wonder who it could
None
be.
can possess the crown of the first king unless it's given.
If you think for one moment that I would...
Before you speak further, consider this. In exchange for what I ask, I shall lift my curse and all that it entails from you and your blighted land. You shall have both it and your family restored in full. Minus your title, naturally.
Your mind reels at these words. For almost 2 decades, a countless number of innocent people have suffered under the afflictions Daventry has had to endure. So many more people would continue to suffer indefinitely, notwithstanding the pain you feel over your own family's misfortune. With a simple statement, you could put an end to it all.
Okay, so these you'll just give him the crown, which we don't want. These you will defy him. This one you'll actually like jump off the balcony and kill yourself. The correct answer is severing the lifeline.
To give you my crown would signify a change of leadership, so says the law of this land. It also says that the crown is to be worn only by those with the highest regard and intent for Daventry. So, to give it to such a vile being as you would betray the honor and memory of all the past kings who have worn it. No, I will not do it.
Not even for the sake of your family?
There are some principles for which even one's family must be sacrificed.
The man appraises you as a scientist would a unique specimen.
What an intriguing set of morals you have, King Graham. I almost look forward to the time when you will put aside your obligations here and seek me out. I have foreseen that we shall meet again.
Behold your third test.
Once again, you feel yourself age. You are many years older now, though still, thankfully, King of Daventry. As before, the knowledge of the previous test ebbs from your mind. This time, however, it is filled with a greater knowledge of all that has come to pass thus far. Many years have passed. Your children, once heirs to your throne, have forged their own paths in other kingdoms. Fortunately, chance has seen fit to fill the vacuum. Following the restoration of the Mask of Eternity, Daventry now has a new champion.
How do you feel?
I am deeply honored, sire.
All right.
From
Now,
King's
how do you
Quest
really
8.
feel?
Scared out of my wits, sire.
You smile and feel the lines in your face stretch. You hope you'll get used to it when the true time comes.
You know what they've been saying about my decision, that is.
The people question my ability to perform the duties when I have another higher obligation. I believe that I can attend to both with the utmost equity.
You do not deny that this obligation may arise at any moment, perhaps taking you away from this country at a time of great need?
Of course not, sire, but I shall deal with that troll, as they say, when I cross that bridge.
And there is the matter of you not being of royal birth. That does not sit comfortably with some of the nobles.
The qualities of truth, light, and order can shine from even the most impoverished of souls. Nobility is defined through one's actions, not one's lineage, your majesty.
You cannot help but smirk. For a man who had once lived as a peasant, he speaks extremely well.
King's Quest 8 is like my least favorite. It just not the best game. It really isn't. So we have to decide if we don't want an item, we want an item. This was actually hilarious, but it's the wrong choice. Basically, Graham will kind of go a bit nuts, and Cedric the owl from the 5th game will fly in and like Graham will go and run after him, try to kill him with a sword. It's funny. So I'm gonna knight him.
Kneel. Your sword. By virtue of your bravery, loyalty, and good conscience, I have chosen you to be my first knight. Thus you are my successor and heir to this throne. Arise, Sir Connor of Daventry.
In an instant, you find yourself standing before the cloud spirit once more. You also notice that it is starting to get dark.
You have demonstrated your sound understanding of compassion, honor, and loyalty. These attributes transcend the mind and speak of the soul within you. Growth continues unabated throughout the lives of all living things. You have grown much, learnt a great deal, and will continue to grow in all ways. You are judged worthy of the Air and Growth Gem.
I gotta hurry.
You take the
because
growth gem.
the clouds are gonna disappear on us.
As you feel the knowledge of the last test fade from your mind, the cloud beneath your feet begins to evaporate. You'd better get out of here quickly, Graham.
Get on the horsey, get on the horsey. It's like, gee, thanks, cloud spirit. You're worthy, but you better hurry or I'm going to kill you by making you fall to your death.
Finally, your flight comes to an end. You hope that it will be quite a while before you take to the air again.
No kidding. Now it's
Where would you
spooky
like me to
nighttime.
land?
On the ground would be fine.
Take this sugar cube. It will protect against the poisonous growth of this land.
We're gonna need that.
Fare thee well.
Bye. Okay.
You notice you have lost a few things during your descent, mostly all that paper you were carrying. You are not concerned, though, as long as you don't get into trouble for littering. As dusk sets in and the pallid moon rises above the darkened horizon, you recall the Door of Destiny's words regarding the third gem, through swampy mire, in lone dark castle. Then you remember the great Neptune's disquiet reluctance to speak of Kalima's lord. You sense a growing unease that this final gem may not be the easiest to acquire.
No kidding. Okay, let's save after all that. All right. Now we get to go in the creepy church.
The church bell is tolling. Finding the door unlocked and unbarred, you enter the church.
Okay, so there is a Bible over here.
Columns of pews line both sides of the church. You notice a Bible has been left at the end of one of the rows. You look over the Bible, which appears to be many decades old. You open it and find that an otherwise blank page at the front has been written on. It is dated over 20 years ago.
All those who have heard the word, we are the chosen few, blessed by the spirits of the wild, destined for greatness, concealed by the cloth. There is but one challenge we must overcome before our future can be set in stone. The simple people of Kolyma still cling to the memory of their former ruler. Even now, years after his fate's dark turn, they retain their hope that he will not forsake them. As long as this is so, our goal cannot be attained. So, my brothers, it is our duty to see the land cleansed of its blight. Do not fear our enemy. Our faith, purpose, and power will guide us to the future we were promised. A path has been found to him, O brothers. Let him hear the warning howls. The cloth will be lifted for all time, and our songs will echo the end of him, his influence, and his family. Our time is at hand. Lo. Okay.
You return the Bible to where you found it. You also notice that a page from the Bible has fallen onto the floor.
I'll take that.
You pick up the fallen page and read it. The words appear to have been written recently. Spiders earnest with spindly eight spin webs with negligible weight.
Basically, that's directions on how to get through the swamp. The first letter of every word is telling you south, north, east, west. Okay, so now we're going to pray with this guy. Pretty sure we got a vampire and werewolf thing going on. I think the Count's a vampire and these dudes are werewolves.
Feeling humbled, you kneel down to pray. You rise again after a few moments. The monk stirs, stands, and turns to face you.
Father, I go now to a place of darkness. While I am stout of heart, the path laid down before me is unclear. I seek only the knowledge that my passage be illuminated by heavenly favor, and a prayer that I may make it through.
The monk gives you a reassuring smile and pats you on the shoulder. He then lifts a silver cross from around his neck and places it in your hands.
Thank you.
You are welcome, my child.
You can talk?
Of course.
I thought monks were forbidden from speaking.
Not all churches follow the same rules, and this church is quite unique.
Really? How so?
The monk just smiles placidly at you.
About this crucifix.
I believe you will find the cross to be of immense value. It has come to us at a huge price.
It was expensive?
I mean that it has cost us more than any value to be in possession of it.
Let me guess, the silver cross was not actually touching
If I may
your skin.
ask, why is it that you only open the church at dusk?
We find the late hours more favorable.
But surely then you would not have many in your congregation.
Yes, that is true.
What do you know of the Count?
Only that he is a heathen, a blasphemer. You serve God well by going there, my child. Bless you.
The monk smiles at you, turns back to the altar, kneels, and resumes his prayers.
Right.
Without warning, a pair of wolves dart out of the dark forest and dash towards you.
Hi?
For a minute there, you thought those wolves were going to attack. Curious as to why they didn't, you decide to follow them. You see the monk standing alone outside the church. Then you notice the two wolves approaching him. You are about to yell a warning to the monk, but the words die in your throat as the man steps forward and pats the wolves' heads.
Okay.
No, my brothers, we must not hurt him. Not yet. He will go to the heathen's abode. He will do what needs to be done.
Is that so?
What if he does not? Then, my brothers, we will complete the task before us, the one we began many
years ago.
Definitely a werewolf.
You quickly move away from the church, your heart racing faster with every step. You have a good idea now what will happen once the moon comes out in full, and you do not want to be anywhere near here when it does. One thing's for sure, you're not getting married in that church.
No kidding. Okay. We're gonna go see Granny.
Oh, sir, have you seen my little granddaughter? She ventured to the town to buy food for me, but has not yet returned. I fear she may be in peril. The forest is not safe at night.
I'll go find her. Bye. Okay. All right, let's go find Possum.
You hear the sound of a child sobbing nearby.
She's just down here.
As you approach, you recognize the child. It is Possum, the little girl you helped earlier today.
Are you all right? What happened?
I went into town to buy some chicken soup for my grandma. I always try to reach home before dark, but this eve I lost my way and was attacked.
Attacked? A wolf attacked you?
No, not by a wolf, a dwarf.
For a moment, you're not sure that you heard correctly.
A dwarf, did you say?
Uh-huh. He jumped out at me, took my food, and then ran away.
Listen, I'm going to try to find this dwarf that you say stole your food. You get back to your grandma, understand?
Possum nods, says a soft thank you, and heads back home.
Okay, so we're gonna have to go in the dwarf's house. We're gonna save our game first in case this goes horribly wrong. Okay.
You rap on the treehouse door and wait a moment, but get no response. You watch as a little man runs out of the door, which has been built into a tree. You surmise that you have found the culprit's home. The vague aroma of chicken soup confirms it. That fiend. Finding the door ajar, you cautiously open it and step inside the tree.
Better hurry in here. And grab the chicken soup.
You grab the handle of the bubbling pot of chicken soup. You take it with you.
Open this chest here.
Upon opening the trunk, you find a number of items that the dwarf has obviously stolen and stashed away. Among them are some gold coins. They display the distinctive face of the first king. They could only have come from the magic chest of Daventry.
If we hear the dwarf coming back, we can actually hide in this chest. But we don't hear him yet, so we're just going to hurry and try and get out of here before he comes back.
You hear the latch fall into place again as the door closes behind you.
Go back to Granny now.
Welcome. Come in, please. Possum told me to expect you.
Okay, so now we need to warm up the soup for her.
You place the now cold chicken soup over the crackling fire once more. After it heats up to eating temperature, you remove it again. You offer the soup to Possum's grandma, introduce yourself, and wait courteously while the frail elderly lady eats the nourishing meal. When she is finished, she sets the empty bowl down elsewhere and turns her attention towards you. They say a home is one It is simply an
If you would like to speak with me for a while, I would welcome your company. A person should never turn away a visitor, especially when she reaches the twilight of her life.
You can't help but feel a sense of finality in the old woman's words.
You must have something in return for your kindness. You do not need to risk your safety for an old, worn-out woman like myself. Look under the bed. You should find something to keep you a little warmer on a cold night like this.
You peer under the bed and find a thick black cloak. Lying atop it is a beautiful ruby-encrusted ring. You pick both up with reverence.
I could not possibly take these fine things from you.
Oh, please. I want you to have them. Nights in Kolima are cold. Believe me. As for the ring, well, perhaps it is better that I do not have it to remind me.
As you wish.
So now we can talk to her to learn more about what happened to the Count.
You have a charming young granddaughter.
Grandma smiles at you graciously.
She is a treasure to me. I would do anything to ensure that no harm comes to her.
If I may inquire, what became of her parents?
Grandma frowns, and her eyes darken for a moment before she forces a melancholy smile to her face.
They were lost to us many years ago. I am afraid dear Possum never really knew her parents.
It must have been a daunting task raising a child by yourself, especially at your,
At my age? I am certainly not as young as I used to be, and there is no shame in that. I have tried to raise her as best I could, to keep her safe and well. However, I fear that as of late the reverse has become truer.
If you please, I was hoping you might tell me of the cloak and ring's origin.
The old woman closes her eyes as if the memory she seeks is painful to her senses.
They were my husband's. He was a proud man, the last of his line. His family had been rich, a great deal of old money, you might say. They lived in that castle you might have seen to the north. Its location upon that island is evidence of how much they valued their privacy. He was a good man, my husband. He took care of me. Certainly he had his strange habits. Most men do, if you will pardon me for saying so. I suspect that he practiced magic, so I could never catch him in the act. He would frequently journey afar, taking that black cloak with him wherever he went, to places he would not talk about. He said that it represented something important to a certain group of people, and that I was never to mention it to anyone. But he was always there for me, always, until that fateful night. We had been married just over a year, and I was heavy with child. We were both out walking in the weirwood forest late one night. The air was warm, and in our youth we paid little attention to the world and its many dangers. Besides, there was a full moon. We could see clearly enough. A shadow passed over us. We looked up, thinking it might have been a stray cloud. It was not. Descending upon us like a demon was the largest, most hideous bat I had ever seen. Its fangs were bared, and it dove straight for me. I must have screamed. My husband flung himself in front of me to protect me. He swung his arms about frantically in hopes of warding the horrid thing away. Perhaps he was trying to cast a spell, but could not recall how in his panic. It paid him no heed and would not be deterred. It swooped again and again relentlessly. At one point, my husband's hand must have clipped the bat's wing because it lost control and crashed into his shoulder. He tried to wrest the foul creature away, but then he shrieked suddenly.
The horrid thing had bitten him. He never did recover from that incident. He just faded with each passing hour. Within 2 days of the attack, my husband had died. We buried him on his family's plantation on the island. Sometimes when I sleep, I can feel him watching over me, guarding me, protecting me. I think he is waiting for my time to come so we can be together always.
The old lady seems to be dozing off. You can barely hear her final words.
I miss him so.
Telling the story has clearly taken a great deal out of her. You watch the old woman a moment and notice her labored breathing as she sleeps. Despite the little girl's tireless daily efforts, perhaps there's nothing more to be done.
Sister Agatha, my dear, tell me you have good news.
The king has arrived in Kalima, father.
That is not what I meant.
Yes. Well, he appears to be quite resourceful. It seems his reputation was not totally exaggerated.
He's still alive?
For now, but that will change soon, I think. The king has discovered that one of the gems he seeks is in the possession of a colleague of ours. Do you remember? Kaldor.
Yes. Is he still trustworthy?
Totally. Still sharp, and there's no questioning his loyalty. My humblest apologies, father, but would it not have been simpler for you to have dealt with Graham personally?
Fool! Imagine the ensuing chaos where Daventry's king murdered in his own land. How then would I be able to search for the item?
I see.
Failure is not an option.
Understood, father.
Keep me informed, preferably of good King Graham's death.
So, now we're going to put on the cloak.
With a flourish, you fling the black cloak around your neck and fasten it.
And the ring.
You are now wearing the beautiful ruby ring.
Okay. Okay, so now we are at the entrance to the creepy swamp. If they want to save, don't want to end up getting lost. Okay, so we pull out the paper with the directions on it.
You read the Bible page again. Spiders earnest with spindly 8 spin webs with negligible weight.
So that should basically be our direction. So south, east, west, south, east, south, west, West. North. West. There it is. That is the castle. Hello.
Boatman, I need passage. I said...
I heard.
The ghoul's voice chills you to the bone. It speaks with a deep, resonating bitterness. You cannot make out a great deal of its face, but what you can see has the hairs on the back of your neck standing on end.
In life, I would row this boat for the master. Long ago was my untimely death in these waters, but still, I remember many things. Laughter, tears, joy, pain.
May I cross, Sir Boatman?
You have come to raid the Master's house. This I know, but care not about. You should be warned, though. The Master is not what he once was. Never has this land known a kinder, more compassionate, and nobler ruler than he. But his fate has long since been decided. Down a dark path he now treads, and he feels naught for anyone nor anything, save for one other. And even that is a rare trait for a Nosferatu.
You freeze. Neither the Door of Destiny nor Neptune mention this count as being undead.
If I may ask, Sir Boatman, how did this swamp come to be here? Is it natural?
No. The ground you stand upon was once farming land and dwellings for the peasantry.
How did it come to be like this?
A score of years passed after the Master died, and a great morass opened up, covering the surrounding land with slime and poisoned water. Once rich and fertile, now it is no longer.
The Count has caused this?
It is believed so, for why else would his own castle be spared?
Ah, thank you, Sir Boatman.
The boatman has nothing more to say.
So we're going to give him those gold coins we swiped from the dwarf.
The boatman accepts your payment and motions for you to climb into the boat. The shrouded ghoul paddles across the toxic lake to the shore on the other side.
Okay, so we're going to want to eat the sugar cube that the horse gave us because it gives us protection from the plants, so which we desperately are going to need.
After swallowing the magic sugar cube, you get a feeling of invincibility. The sharp thorns brush against your skin. However, instead of feeling intense pain, you only experience a slight tingling sensation. Evidently, the magic sugar cube did its job.
Some ghosts here just kind of
As
walk
you
up
approach
and
the
fly
ghosts
away.
wearing the black cloak, they seem to notice you, and then begin to drift away towards the cemetery.
As you can see, our little key here is in the shape of a cross, so that's what we need this for.
Having an idea, you push the crucifix into the cross-shaped keyhole. It fits. You hear a click, and the door unlocks. You push the heavy wooden door open, take a deep breath, and step nervously inside the castle entrance. The moment you enter the great hall of the castle, you begin shivering uncontrollably, and not just from the cold. This place has an air of death wherever you go. The portraits on the wall depict the couple who once lived here. They look young and proud. Behind the mask of apathy that comes with aristocracy, there's a certain kindness in their eyes.
Okay, so we're gonna head up this left staircase first. Grab the shovel.
You take the shovel into your possession.
As we're gonna be doing some grave digging later, and we're gonna use that candle from the pumpkin.
You hold your candle up to the blazing torch. It catches. Your candle is now lit.
Go up this way. This is just a storage room, but it's kind of funny what they say.
This is just a small storage room. Rows of red wine barrels are neatly stacked and piled along the wall. At least you think they contain wine. Seeing nothing else of real importance, you head back into the dining room.
Okay, so we're gonna go down this way. Down the creepy stairs.
The staircase beyond is very dark. Fortunately, your candle provides just enough light to see where you are going.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and save our game because we're about to have our confrontation with the Count. Okay.
The lid of the beautifully carved coffin is closed.
Take off my cloak.
The black cloak is a fine garment. It feels thick. You remove the black cloak again. Nervously, you lift the heavy lid of the elegant coffin. You peek into its red satin interior. The coffin is unoccupied, and you feel relief wash over you. As you prepare to look inside the coffin,
King Graham, I presume.
You turn on your heel. There, blocking the only exit from this dismal room, stands the Count. His skin is pale, his eyes jet black. He wears a black cloak nearly identical to the one that you possess.
You know me?
Ah, yes indeed. Sister Hagatha alerted me to your arrival, dear king.
Right.
Desperate to stall for time, you query the Count.
Sister Hagatha, you say? Who is she?
The Count regards you with a suspicious glare.
Though I suspect you already know the answer, Hagatha is a charming mage who does as she pleases in this land.
Strange. I was not aware a new ruler had been elected.
Do not be foolish. Hagatha has no interest in the politics of this wretched place, nor do I, in point of fact. Death tends to diminish one's taste for power. No, at present, she is interested only in one thing, as am I, your destruction.
Please don't eat me.
In an instant, you are flat against the wall. The Count has you pinned so well you can't move a muscle, much less put up a defense. You can feel the Count's iron-cold hand on your throat. You have barely seconds before the inevitable happens. The Count snatches the cross key from you, and to your complete surprise, kisses it. A sarcastic grin flickers on his face for a moment.
God bless Kolima.
You gotta love the irony. Here, how about this?
With difficulty, you manage to loosen the ruby ring from your finger and drop it to the floor. The Count's eyes dart to it quickly, then flash angrily back to you.
Where did you get that?
The elderly woman who lives in a house to the south of here, near the beach. She gave it to me for helping her.
The Count regards you for a moment. His dark eyes bore unendingly into yours, and you feel as if your very soul is bare.
What do you know of her?
She is not well.
I know. Do you think I am not aware of that?
You are sweating profusely. Hopefully this vampire doesn't find the odor appetizing.
Night is the most dangerous of times for my mortal family. I have kept constant vigil over my wife for many years, so that from the darkness, no harm would come to her. When her time comes, we will be together forever.
I think tonight will be the night. I have seen her this very eve. I did what I could to help her, but I do not think it was enough.
Oh, we're not dead.
As you watch the giant bat fly out of the room, you remember that the Count confiscated your crucifix. Without it, you are trapped in this castle. Now, what are you going to do?
He would have taken the crucifix from us anyway, even if we had used it on him. It's just more fun to use it on him.
You peer into the ornate coffin. Finding it unoccupied, you see that the interior is lined with shiny red satin. At long last, you have located the final gem, the Death Gem. You breathe deeply, reach out, and take the stone in your hands. It is ice cold to the touch, but you don't care. This is the last thing you need to unlock the door of destiny. Now all you have to do is get out of here.
So you can actually look at each gem, and it'll give you a different kind of energy.
It is a slightly luminescent blue stone. You feel a rejuvenating energy radiating from it.
It's birth, growth.
You feel a sustaining energy radiating from it.
Then
you feel a draining energy radiating from it.
Okay, so we're gonna try and get out of here as best we can. Okay, so I think this is a good place to stop. Next time we will try to escape Count's Castle and keep going on our way to get to the Door of Destiny and rescue our future bride. If you're enjoying the videos, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and it's very much appreciated. Thanks, guys.